Has Tom Taylor crapped the bed with Adventures of Superman John Kent issue number 6? Let's talk about it. So the Superboy John Kent series, I collected for a couple of issues and I quickly noticed that it sucks. And then it went into this spiral of like, oh, we have to be on trend. Oh, we have to change the orientation of Jonathan Kent because we need to be relevant and we need all of this stuff. Well, your relevancy did nothing because your book got canceled. However, I've liked this series, which tells me that maybe, and I never talk about the creators. I always talk about the comic in hand. In this case, I kind of feel like I have to, because I'm thinking that when it got canceled, they kind of let Tom say, well, just do what you got to do. And then he came up with this, which is not perfect by any stretch, like for sure. It's not a 10 out of 10 comic. Like this series is not 10 out of 10. But it's a hell of a lot better than it was before. I think this is a great example of where throwing your big corporate agenda and putting it onto the writers, and maybe the writers toe the line and they go on Twitter and say, oh, I'm all for it. It's like, listen, you want to make Jonathan Kent bisexual, then make him bisexual in a story. That's it. Announcing it, throwing a party, having a launch and all this crap for it, that's a bunch of garbage, because that means that you care more about your message than you care about providing a good comic that people want to read. Once that ended, you can see once that complete thing ended and the comic got canceled and they're like, okay, Tom, finish your story off in this, it became much better. I read past quite a few, actually. I read almost the entire run of the John Kent stuff. I stopped getting the physical copies because I was just like, I don't care. But I read the coming out. I read the stories. Like after that, I was like, this is just not very good at all. In fact, his friend, the pink hair friend, I can't remember the guy's name because he's such a like random stupid character, such a generic character, really. His friend is in this series, in this other universe, and he's a great character. So like, what happened, right? Like, he's just a character. I think the first iteration of that guy was a caricature, but in this comic, he's actually a character. I can't remember his name, but he's good in this. Overall, I like this series, and I actually like Electric Blue Superman. I've got a couple of toys and stuff up here. I always thought it looked cool and it was kind of neat. Obviously, I like the original Superman. He's my favorite comic. He's my favorite character of all time, not just comic books. So let's talk about this using my space system, SPACE, story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. If you're watching this on YouTube, you could have seen it earlier because I give early access to all my Patreons. It's patreon.com/jman77. Join up, you get early access to the comic reviews and the movie reviews for the current stuff. Storyline of this, I'm going to give it a 1.5. I like the story. The reason I keep knocking 0.5. And the reason I keep knocking 0.5 is because I'm sick and I'm tired and annoyed and done with this Superman is evil. Oh, he becomes a dictator. Why is this always a thing? Somebody said this on the Facebook group. Can't Batman become the dictator? Right. Like, where can there be an alternate universe where Batman goes crazy? And, you know, it's always seems to be Superman is always bad or something. So, look, they handled it the best that you could handle that, but I don't like it. So somebody out there might give this story a bit of more. Somebody might say this is a great story, not a pretty good story, because they're okay with Superman being bad, but I hate it. I hate that. Superman's the dictator here. He lost Lois and the baby, which would have been John. Batman's been fighting him. I just hate this Batman. Why can't Batman and Superman team up against like an evil, like Green Lantern and Wonder Woman or something? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's a story out there like that. I don't read much Green Lantern. I just kind of made this up on the fly. Well, here's the character here that we're talking about. His buddy. See, he's just a normal person here. So here he is there. Superman has him like as a hostage. He breaks his arm. It's pretty violent. And so when this happened, I felt really bad. I was like, oh no, I like that guy. See, that's why you create a character, not a caricature. Oh, let's have him have pink hair. Okay, so you're making fun of people with pink hair? That's the way I perceived it. Maybe the pink hair people thought, wow, this is great. I got representation. Well, you have representation of a garbage character. Now you just have a normal character who's actually good and you feel bad with. When this happened, I was like, F this Superman guy. Literally, I was like, okay, screw you, buddy. It's time for John to kick your ass. See, that creates like excitement because you're like, oh shit, this is getting heavy, right? As Marty McFly was saying, this is heavy right now. So I like the storyline. I just wish they would have tried to do something different. But anyway, I like the storyline. In this one, the Justice League now, or the Injustice League, or whatever the shit they're calling them, he's got to take him out. And the way John beats each one is kind of cool. It's a bit fast, but it's kind of cool. And I feel that Jonathan Kent, like, he is Superman, right? He's got all the power. So he's our Superman representative, right? So obviously I would assume that Superman could take these people out in the way that he did. I like that. He tries to convince the evil Superman to be good, and he sort of does so. And it's a bit of a more emotional ending than a fisticuffs ending, which I'm actually really okay with. I probably would have given this higher on the story. It's just that I'm just done with this evil Superman crap. So I'm just sticking with 1.5. That's it. Pacing, I'm gonna give the friggin' pacing a 2. Man, I like, this was actually very well paced. You got right into it. I think this is the finale, right? It doesn't say. I think this is the conclusion. It says the end for now. So they really got to it quickly, which I'm fine with. Like, let's just move this along. So I'm giving it a 2. The artistry, I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm gonna give it a 1 because I like the art, but I'm not dying over it. Like, I don't know. The colors are okay. I'll give it a pass. I'll give it a pass. Yeah, like, it's okay. John looks good. You know, it is panely. I guess it works for this, but I'm not loving it. You know, so I'll give it a 1. For the characters, I will also give it a 1. I'll give it a 1. Jonathan Kent in this 6-part series was a great character. This has been the best adult version of John, easy. Like, John as a little kid was absolutely fantastic. Him and Damian Wayne, the Super Sons, that was really fun. That was a comic where you could just be like, I want to have fun and read a comic book and feel like it's a comic. Like you read it and you felt like, yeah, this is a comic book. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's cool. The Sons are great. That was great. And ever since they aged him up, you know, Bendis, ever since they've aged him up, I've been like, nope. This is the first time that I've been actually pumped up for John. So that has to go to Taylor. Give him credit where it's due. When these writers do something garbage, I'm going to tell you it's garbage. Like, immediately. Like, I'll tell you. When they do something pretty good, you have to give credit that way too. You can't just be negative all the time. So definitely, if you guys, I didn't do everything. Oh, enjoyment, I'll give it a 1.5. I actually enjoyed this series. So really good. So what are we at here? 1.5. Did I give story 1.5? Yeah. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. That's really good. So 7 means it's a very good comic. 8 or 9, 10, that's like really awesome. So 7 is way above average. I liked it. And also, just as a note, I say this in all the videos, but sometimes I forget. I'm reviewing this based on modern Superman comics. I'm not basing this on classic Superman comics pre-crisis. I'm not comparing this to Watchmen. If Watchmen is 10 out of 10, then this is like a 3 out of 10. But I'm not comparing it to Watchmen. I'm comparing it to other modern Superman comics plus Jonathan Kent as a character. So it's a 7 out of 10, which means it represents probably the best of the Jonathan Kent that we've had, not counting Super Sons. So Super Sons would be like a 9 or a 10. So this would then be a 7. Okay, so that's how that works. I'm not putting this up against, V for Vendetta or something and saying, oh, it's 7 and, So I like the series. Let me know what your thoughts were on Adventures of Superman, Jonathan Kent, or John Kent, because it's shorter, I suppose. Number 6, and just the whole series in general. It's been surprising, very surprising. I actually bought issue 1, and I didn't buy issue 2 and 3. And then when I read them, I talked to my buddy DW, and he was like, it's pretty good. I was like, yeah, I think you're right. It's pretty good. Let me go back. And I went back and got the other issues, so now I've got the whole series. So I'm happy I did, because I do actually like this series. I love this Electric Superman Blue. I like that John Kent has the Electric Blue powers. They should just keep him Electric Blue all the time now. Like, don't even have don't even have the red and blue anymore. Just have him be pure, because that would make him stand out against the others. This is my problem. They changed Supergirl's costume. It's the worst costume of all time, voted by me. I'm unanimous. Worst costume ever. And it's like, give Jonathan something cool then. If he's going to be in the blue, that's cool. I like that. Then he looks different. So anyways, that's it, guys. All right. Until next time.